podcast in the youth series. Uh, I am lucky to have with me a brilliant young man. Welcome, Rohan, to the show.
Thank you for having me here. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
For your knowledge, I am doing an alphabetical series in the youth program that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Uh, Today we have the letter H. Uh, I have a word that is not related to youth alone, but I would want to know what you think about this word that affects all humankind, and the word is happiness.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if one were to come from outer space and you are the representative of all humankind and ask you one line definition of what is happiness, so what would you say on behalf of yourself and on behalf of all humankind?
Okay, so this is interesting. For me, to explain someone coming from outer space, happiness would be feeling light. There's no tension. Feeling yourself and being in the moment. Yeah.
Wonderful. Um, Now, since you brought up uh, a spiritual dimension to this answer, say, suppose you like wearing jeans and you are going shopping and you find a pair of jeans which is excellent.
Yeah.
You decide to buy it and you realize that it is very costly and it's completely out of your budget. So, are you happy? Are you sad?
Okay, so the materialistic things would be it's way for me is I chose materialist things slight different manner because after people say that happiness comes from emotions and everything, but at the end it's money. So buying that for example that jeans is expensive like 20,000, but I wouldn't be sad if I don't get that pair of jeans because it's above my budget. I have something planned for me about the budget thing. So I'll be choosing a better pair of jeans than the 20,000 and going for other jeans. I'll be happy with that also because I have something set in my mind, and I would be disappointed with that the things that I don't get in my life because there might be things planned ahead in my life which won't be expecting much. So yeah, I'd be happy with the other pairs.
Would you see it as a compromise on your happiness, or would you genuinely be happy with the other pair of jeans?
No, I would be happy with other pair of jeans, irrespective of the quality and everything. Because as I mentioned, what you have planned and what you have kept in your mind, that's more important than what are you getting. So I'd be happy with the other pair also.
Okay. Let me push this a little more. Um, Suppose you really have your heart on the 20,000 one. It's just the budget that is the problem, but it kind of fits everything else that you had planned. In that scenario, how would you see that? It's just an example. We can have 16,000 examples like those, but this is just to push the example. So you really have your heart on it because it kind of fits you well and it's the kind of feel you like and the kind of cloth you like. It's kind of the brand that you've been wanting.
Yeah.
And on the spur of the moment, suddenly you realize it is a little out of budget and you are unable to buy it for now. Uh, what would be your state of mind? I'm more interested in the state of mind. The jeans is really an example of
Yeah, yeah, sure.
getting it.
Yeah, so looking at that state of mind, I'd be a little, you mentioned that I really love that jeans and everything. I'll be a little bit disappointed because the thing that I wanted, I'm not able to get that or anything. But I'll be thinking that in the future I'll be getting that or trying to achieve that thing. So I'd be in that state of mind a little disappointed. Yes, I agree that. But in the state of mind, I'd be thinking that how can I achieve that thing or I'll be getting it that in future. So just not crying in the moment, but thinking ahead in the future and planning accordingly.
Okay. Do you see the mind shift here that you spoke about? Let's forget the example for a moment. So you started with saying that being in the moment is important. When you decided to be in the moment, certain happiness came to you because you finally found the kind of stuff that you were looking for.
Yeah.
Then you came to a point where you realize, oh, it's not within my budget. So life keeps doing this to us. We get one thing, we don't get one thing, and
Yeah.
suddenly we find a third thing. So this is not really such an extraordinary example. It really happens to us all the time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So then you shifted and you said, okay, this is what I like about it. And this is the part that is beyond me right now. It is giving me unhappiness, but I use the unhappiness to change my mind and make it a future, uh, uh,
Thing to achieve in the future.
yeah, to achieve. And it kind of gives you a separate sense of happiness.
Yeah.
The happiness you set out with may not have come to you in that moment, but your ability to change with the requirement of that moment. So
Yeah.
you are taking responsibility for it. Yes, I like it, but my like dislike does not matter. Right now, there are other constraints. That is one aspect of how one can look at it. Uh, how important is immediate happiness in your eyes?
Important happy. Yeah. It's sometime in some cases the happiness is important at that moment also because you have done something. Giving my example about the as I spoke, I have been doing plays since 2 years in my college. We have a process of 2 months, 3 months, and at after the play, all the team gets together and we discuss about the play. So, in general, there is a feedback coming from other teammates also that how was the play and everything. If the feedback is not good, that happiness you don't get of doing all the work since you have been doing since last past 2 3 months. So the happiness in that moment in some cases is also important because one more example I'll be giving that I've in the season I was sitting for different companies placement. The result you get, the HR comes in the room and announces the result that you have been selected and you have not been selected. That happiness when you are selected is much more important. So the happiness in the moment is pretty surprising and important also.
Wonderful. I wanted you to get into this mindset. Now I have a reverse question there.
Okay.
How often does it happen that this kind of happiness may happen or may not happen? So, mm, how do you prepare for both of these? Because uh, you have played your part.
Yeah.
The other party or the other event or the or life simply has to play its part and either give you the job or not give you the job or give you
Yeah.
applause at the end of the play or not. The feedback could be positive, could be negative.
Yeah.
In that sense, is there any preparation you do to keep your mind in a space um, which is balanced, for want of a better term?
Okay, so no, not really. I don't prepare anything for myself in the mind state of mind. But as you mentioned that you have done your job. So when I have done my job and I know that I have done enough and good, so I just leave that thing on the result itself. So no thinking like good or is going to be good or is going to be bad. Just the result is more important than overthinking about it. That if what if it goes wrong, what if goes right and everything else. So just balance myself, keep calm, no overthinking about the result, good or bad. Just go with the flow. Yeah, that's what I would.
Uh, Wonderful. So, are you actually saying that the imagination does not count when the real thing happens?
Not really, but how you imagine that thing is more important than overthinking can cause you anxiety or anything problems. But just imagining that you have done this thing or the result is going to be good, that is all right. That is good. But overthinking about it or thinking again and again about it, how it's going to be, how it's going to happen, and everything, that is not good. So just go with the flow and don't think too much. So eventually the result is going to happen. You can't change that.
So this mindset that you spoke of right now, is it a mindset that you carry or is it something that you developed over time?
No, I don't think I haven't noticed that I have developed it or I have been carrying, but I follow this mindset only. Giving a simple example.
Can you go a little deeper into your mind and check if it is something that you worked upon? Maybe think of some episodes. You don't need to share it with us right now, but to think that if uh, there was a younger version of you before college or in 12th standard or in 10th standard, certain things happened that were uh, like you imagined they would, and
Yeah.
certain things happened that they didn't happen the way you wanted. So how do you, is there a difference? Is there any mindset or is there any episode that you can think of where you decided, no, this is a good mindset to have and I need to
Uh,
develop it?
yeah.
Is it completely blind and you have no control over it?
No, it's not. It's not a particular about a particular episode in my life or anything changed my thinking about this. But as I was talking, a simple example since school days, after exam, children just discuss the question paper. How was your paper? How was the answer for question two, three? From school or college days, I don't discuss the paper at all after the exam. It's written, it's gone. You can't change that. So that thing that just go with the flow, you can change the result. It's already happened. You have done your part. It's upon the result. It's good or bad. So that thing, I guess that came into me, that just go with the flow. Don't think too much after you have done that part. So this is, I guess.
Uh, there is one little nuance in that episode that you mentioned, or even the episode that you mentioned before that. Uh, is there is there some merit in seeing the thing as it is, rather, say for example, so you could do whatever you could do before the exam. You
Yeah.
prepared, and you brought it to a point where you, whatever, you could have an aim, 80%, 90%, whatever. But you prepared as much as you could. You went and gave your exam as best as you could. Now that
Yeah.
it is done, this is one place where people who get anxious,
Yeah.
who get worried, or who get unhappy in any manner, but they keep discussing, thinking, overthinking, but without realizing this single most important fact, like you mentioned, that what needs to be done is done. And every time that's the only criteria for any happiness.
Yeah.
If you've given your best and you've done what can be done, yeah, if you find that it is not done enough, so 12th standard I didn't do enough, so I'll do it in FI, SY, TY, whenever. I will change whatever I can change because that also still comes to the same point. You cannot redo the exam.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
Of course.
choose to redo, that's a separate thing. Then you are giving a next exam, and again you are
Yeah.
doing in the manner that you decided. So my point is, do you realize this essential thing that yes, what needs to be done has to be done when it has to be done. It cannot be overthought or thinking and doing are two separate things.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little about that? How did you stumble upon this? Or is it, again, is it part of your nature or what made you understand this? You are making it sound very simple, but there are enough people who don't do this.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I
Of
want
course.
to get
Yeah.
to your mind space and figure out if there is any.
Yeah. I have seen people like they just overthink and just keep thinking about the past activities they have done and what can be what could have been changed and what they have not done seriously or anything. But I guess it's in my nature that I just go with the flow and not think too much upon it. Just go with the flow and focus on the result. It cannot be changed and it is eventually going to happen as you have done your part. And yeah, that's it. I don't think that it has been inculcated or any episode or any moment in my life has changed me. I was different earlier and I have a different version right now. But I guess this has been in me since like childhood only, from school days. So I didn't think too much on that. That's why it's so simple, I guess, for me.
So maybe let's look at it from the other side. What do you do when you are unhappy? Suppose there is some, let's start with, suppose you are seriously unhappy about something. Not not the everyday sadness.
Okay.
Say you wanted something desperately, or you weren't planning something, something happened in life that is a kind of sadness that you cannot control. Uh, or any such episode that comes to your mind. You can share the episode or not, that's up to you. But I
Yeah.
again want to know the mind state. So, how do you handle unhappiness?
Okay, for me, unhappiness, handling unhappiness is like just don't get disappointed much. There are different things in your life to do, but handling that is if there is some episode or maybe a fight with your friend or anything, just introspect yourself to the zone and think what went wrong and what could have been changed. So talk to him what things you made wrong decisions about the friendship and everything. Talk to him and solve that thing so the unhappiness thing or the disappointment goes away, I guess. So for me it is like that. So talk communication plays an important role, as we say that. So talking to someone else, it's not like solving something, but just talking to someone, sharing your thoughts base can just reduce your unhappiness also. So that can give you comfort, give another perspective of thinking about the which you have been overthinking since past time. So for me, it is like talking to someone or just introspecting and what could have been changed or what in the future, what mistakes I won't be making. That's for me unhappiness. Dealing with unhappiness is.
How important in a scenario that you discussed right now? How important is it to be truthful? Is it important, or is it okay if you have to say a small white lie, nobody will find out, to maintain that relationship or the equation of happiness? So suppose, wild example, you and I were supposed to meet at 7 o'clock, and you were watching a movie and you finished a little later than you realized, and you didn't want to say that I was unimportant and the movie was important, and it could have been the movie on your laptop or your phone or whatever. So you could
Yeah.
have stopped it and you could have come. So you will end up saying, "Look, I had some work and I got stuck," and lie your way out of it so that I don't feel bad about it. Uh, but you have lied. So
Yeah.
how do you see this in the trust and the happiness part of a relationship?
No, I think the truth plays an important role in building all the relationships you have. So it's not the small lies you say in any relationship build to a bigger problem, I guess, in future. So just what you have done, any mistake or any lie you're going to say, just don't do that, I guess, because eventually it can become your habit, and in the future it can land you in trouble also. So I guess the truth in any relationship, the trust you build over time is more important than anything. The small quarrels you'll be getting or any bad decisions you make, that can be overcome with trust you have with each other. And yeah, so
Mm. Uh, so, Another practical question. You and I are friends, and we've been friends for a long time, suppose, whatever, or colleagues or workmates or college mates or whatever. Uh, and we have to work together for some reason because life has decided that we both have to work together. It is
yeah,
podcast. We both have to do this together because I hold it and you want to become the guest, and I am also okay with having you as a guest. Now there are certain do's and don'ts which are sometimes unsaid or whatever. But suppose your happiness clashes with my happiness.
okay,
How do you deal with those kind of things? Again, do not get stuck with the example. Uh, Example is just to set forward the idea of what I'm trying to communicate.
yeah, yeah,
So
okay,
please feel
I
free
get,
to share when happiness strikes with somebody else's happiness. I would want you to go into your heart and think of some episode, not necessarily share it. But again,
yeah,
this way, say you and your parents, you and your friend, you and your girlfriend, or some other friend, or whatever, workmate, teacher. The idea is what
yeah.
happens when two kinds of happiness clash.
Yeah, so clashing happiness, I have experienced this in some or the other manner. So uh, if me and my friend are going somewhere or doing something and like something and he doesn't like that, so eventually we are clashing with our making some experiences.
Yeah.
But I guess finding a middle ground, I have been doing that because if someone's happiness is clashing with mine, I really feel that the other person should also be happy and everything because they also have the freedom to enjoy and everything. But I just really get disappointed if they don't enjoy or they don't play their part in the activity or anything we are doing. So finding a middle ground, just convincing each other to do a same thing or coming to middle, agreeing something that we both like is more important. And I have done this also in talking about the clubs in my college and other things. There are some things that I have experienced. So making a middle ground and act like both of us do equally play the equal part and both of us enjoy is more important than just fighting each other that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. This is not important. Just being happy and making others happy is more important. So yeah.
Okay. Uh, what about times when it is your moral code that is being compromised? So, bad example, but an easy one. You just broken a signal and you want to pay the fine, and your friend doesn't want to, or your friend wants you to pay the fine, and you think it's okay, we can get away with it. Where a moral code is being questioned. Both of
Yeah.
your friends, both of your happiness. He'll say what stupidity. Let's say this 300, 500, 700, whatever the fine is. Uh, and let's go and have a snack somewhere or a burger or something. Why waste this money on it? Or let's bribe this guy and get out of this. How do you tackle things like those? I don't know if they happened in your life, but maybe they have. But if a situation like that arises where your moral
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, ideas don't match with the friend that you have, and it happens very often.
Yeah.
Younger, this happens much more often. Luckily, the kind of friends I have right now, more or less, I have to be even better.
Yeah.
So, how do you see this?
This question is very situational based for me because sometimes I might follow my moral principles. Sometimes I might not. Also, this is very like in what situation I am in. I am just speaking frankly. Every time I won't follow. Sorry.
Please continue.
Yeah, yeah. So every time I don't know, I might follow my own moral principles or not. But yes, some other day I might think that I should have done or followed the moral thing because it might end up being actually a good person of yourself and all that stuff. But it's very difficult or confusing for me to answer this question because I haven't faced these situations a lot much on a bigger scale, I might say.
Okay.
So it's very situation based, and I don't know what I personally would be doing in this cases. But both my friend and I, if following your example, if me and my friend are going somewhere, we'll just run away from the cops, I guess.
Uh, okay. Point taken. I would want you to think on something that you yourself said in an answer earlier. It could become a habit. That
Yeah,
becomes a bit of a problem. Um, yes, I would advise that you think, sit with yourself and think, okay, it's a good question to spend some time on because life does test these things at some point or not. Since the topic continues to be happiness based, I have another question. How do you view short-term happiness and long-term happiness? Is there a difference? And what kind of mindset difference does it require in a short-term happiness and a long-term happiness situation?
short-term happiness is just yeah. So short-term happiness for me is just like you are happy for the moment and that just vanishes like this in couple of hours maybe or days. But the long term happiness, the happiness or the feel the joy you get from the long term happiness is much more bigger and important thing for you from inside also. So talking about my again the example I gave you about the placement when I got selected for the placement drive, I was really happy, and that is a long term happiness for it's been like past 6 or 8 months since my placement. That is still giving me joy. I'm still looking forward for the job role I'd be starting in next 1 or 2 months. But the short-term happiness is just you do some, I guess for my age, some mischief or anything. The thing that gives the short-term happiness is may it can be almost much more giving happiness to you, but it can cause pain for others also because it is a short-term happiness and you don't look at from the other perspective, also from the other person point of view. So the I would prefer a long-term happiness over a short-term because it's of I guess no use.
Okay. I want to maybe rephrase that question in a different manner. So, for example, there, what happens when the short-term happiness and the long-term happiness are clashing with each other?
Okay.
So, in your
So,
personal capacity, there is nobody else who is going to pay for whatever it is. So, there is some kind of short-term happiness, but there is also the question of long-term happiness that you have been working
uh,
on. How would you go about
short clashing with short-term and long-term happiness would be a very like uh, confusing mind shape because your long-term planning is something else, but right now you're facing some other happiness and it's like overwhelming but can't be said. It's very confusing, like what to do now. So for I haven't faced such a situation in my life still, but it will be confusing for me because long-term happiness is much more I'll be choosing over, and short-term happiness is like a dopamine hit that it stays for a shorter time.
it? Yeah. Um, you haven't started your professional life yet, but whatever you spoke of your education, you spoke of a degree in global e-business,
Yeah.
if I understood correctly. Um, how do you see your mindset being happy in a field like that? Is there any planning? Is there any thought that you've given it? Okay, this is the kind of mindset I should have, or these are the pluses that I have, or these are things that I'm not good at. Whatever said and done, you may have not started your work life, but because this is a very contemporary degree uh,
Yeah.
compared to an MA, MCOM, or whatever other things that we do. So, have you done any kind of planning for how to stay happy in the kind of um, field you are going to pursue, or uh, is there any effort you're taking to ensure that you uh, stay happy? I right now understand that happy may not be a word that suits this. It might be more
Yeah.
professional, more um, um, yeah, well equipped to deal with situations. And but I would still go back because it should uh, make you happy. And that's
Yeah.
the reason why you chosen this. So, would you want to comment on that? How have you planned, or is there any structure? Is there any effort? Is there any thought that you put into how you want to use your education so far? And how do you plan to do it, or you have no such ideas?
No, I would be for my opinion, the about my starting my professional life and about my degree, that is BBA Global E-Business. There isn't much connection for my job role I'll be starting with and my degree. But yeah, of course, the degree, all the 3 years, they have taught us about different market, business fields and everything. That gives a sense of confidence, think of other perspective of thinking. So that would be very helpful for me in my professional life. And talking about my equipping myself for my professional life, I have done some courses and I will be doing some in future also. So getting at par in the competition in the market, just well equipped with myself or from the market, what is going in the industry and everything, just completing my targets and everything. That would eventually give me happiness, I guess, in my professional life.
Okay. Um, I'm running out of questions. Uh, is there any kind of, because of the first answer, very first answer you gave, which was non-material, but our questions have been practical and material because I did not want to get down into a space which is uh, more imagination and thought based right
Yeah.
now and or spiritual. But we've done enough practicals, so now getting a little bit into the mind space bit. Suppose there is a situation where you try to be very happy. Say your job that is making you very happy. This is just a hypothetical question. It's not necessary that it is going to happen, but there are challenges that you did not think about and that they have come up and you are unable to handle them, and it is taking its toll on your effort, in the way you're doing things. Suppose a situation like that were to come or has come earlier in different ways when you were doing your degree and suddenly you realize that the subject is far more tougher than you thought, and maybe a certain aspect of the subject you are not understanding at all, or you're feeling ill-equipped, or you have a longer kind of bad mood swing and you're unable to concentrate on your education at that point of time or any such thing. So how would you continue being happy? Is there a mindset that you will bring to the situation? What would you do?
Okay, so for me, as I mentioned earlier, just if you're facing any unhappy moments or the hardships in your life, just don't overthink about it. Don't get much anxious. People do get anxious, or sometimes I might be anxious as well for this situations. You have been preparing so much past since years or months, and you are not getting expected results. So that is disappointing, of course. But overthinking is not the option, right? So as I mentioned, just introspect yourself. What did go wrong in past your journey? Just think about it and what can be changed. There are things that can be changed, of course. So just look at from that perspective and just not keep sit and cry, but change some things, do your best again, and keep calm, and eventually things will be sorted, of course. And talking about professional life, as I you mentioned earlier, so I don't know much about it, but looking from my dad's perspective, there are hard times or there are deadlines, clients meeting and everything. So you will be having much difficulties, or the people ask questions and everything. You have to manage a lot of things at one time. So you have to do that. You can't run away from your responsibilities, right? So you will be doing that eventually, but just plan things out. Keep calm, just do your thing, and eventually the result will be good only.
You mentioned the words keep calm twice. Is being calm happiness?
It's calm isn't equal to happiness, but calmness helps you to be happy, I guess. So just you're panicking about something or getting anxious, that won't lead to happiness, right? So it helps to be happy eventually, I guess. So
So you think that happiness is a state of mind which is a high of sorts, or it can be okay, okay, and there are no problems right now, you're doing well and you're something simple going on in life. Is that happiness at times also, or that doesn't count?
no, the about this is what you spoke. I would be stating that as calmness, that nothing is just things are going normal and everything. That is calmness for me. But you achieve something or do something best, and you are good at that, and that gives a better result at the end. That is happiness, I guess. So that is a little higher state of mind than calmness, and it is much more like higher, yeah, from calmness.
So, suppose there are 30 days in a month, how many days will you achieve something extraordinary every day?
Your voice.
I'm saying, suppose there are 30 days in a month. How many days in a month can you achieve something extraordinary every day?
No, not every day, like no, not all 30 days also, I guess. But there are some times that you are really, really happy and nothing is in your mind, just that thing that you achieved or you got from that result. Uh, these are some small moments, or I guess not much that happen in your life, but that give you extraordinary happiness that stay with you for a long time. So after that 30 days, you can be happy, but you got 15 days earlier also. So the long-term happiness is also then.
So, would you say, suppose you've gone to some place and watched a lovely sunrise or a sunset, or suddenly just watching cat or dog play or any such thing, which is very simple, which is not your achievement to start with, because you did no nothing to make that sunrise sunset happen.
Yeah.
But you are just part of nature. At that point, you are lucky to be in that space and time. Would you count that as happiness, and where does that? How would you rate that compared to that high of achievement? Or is it only about the high of achievement and sunset, sunrise, hote rahe stuff?
Nahi, so this I won't be considering this as a happiness, but a calm state of mind, as I mentioned. It's helps you to be happy. So in that moment also, as you mentioned, there's a beautiful sunrise or the sunset, dogs and cats playing and everything. In that moment also, if you're thinking about something, overthinking, panicking, or anything like that, you won't be happy. So eventually you're not calm because of that, right? So
It
just
can be a happiness, you're saying.
yeah, it can just like feeling light or being calm, that can also be happiness. Just not thinking too much, not getting any tensions, that can also be happiness, right?
Is
So
that not
the
what cancer
the
was?
short-term happiness, this can be a short-term happiness also.
It can be. I'm not
Yeah.
denying the fact, but you did start with what is happiness, and when you were representing humankind, you said it is a sense of feeling light. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so there is, I
There
would,
is a little connection between
yeah.
the calmness, like
So I would want you to spend some time, not necessarily on this episode right now. We are uh, almost done with all the questions in my head. But that's a good point for you to stay back, because while work life and achievements are going to be some of the best highs that you will get, and they are really happy moments and they are very enjoyable moments. But I would want you to spend some time in your day and age and in your uh, the space and time that you occupy. I know that it is going to be one difficult task, but I would want you to spend some time thinking,
yeah,
okay, if
sure.
everything else is still wrong and you are in a moment where you can watch a sunrise and watch the absence of a problem thanks to your mindset. I'm not even denying that that's a good mindset to have, go with the flow,
Yeah.
as you mentioned a couple of times. Maybe spend some time thinking, what if there is no achievement and still that whatever sense of calm is there? Where does that come from? Why does it happen? And what happens? Maybe you will get some answers that will make you happier for no reason for a longer period of time. Um, so thank you so much for this quick and many beautiful answers there. Very practical kind of mindset, at the same time very honest, and uh, you took even difficult questions with absolute honesty, and your answers surely
Yeah.
made me smile more than once. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for having
Good
me. It
time.
was a really great experience for me also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.